Hey guys, Trooper D5821 here, and today I want to talk to you about the Smith Wesson SW9VE Sigma 9mm. So, here we go. Okay guys, so let's talk about the Smith Wesson SW9VE Sigma 9mm. Now, in some circles, this is called the poor man Glock. It's basically a Glock clone. Smith & Wesson actually has to pay Glock, I think it's $7 for every one of these Sigmas that they sell, which may be why they don't sell a whole lot of them. But this right here is a Gen 1. The Gen 2s are a little rounder instead of so boxy, and they have additional serrations up here in the front, and they actually have a rail up here so that if you want to put a light or a laser on there, you can. On the Gen 1, you have slots, but they're not really, it's not really a rail. So you have to buy an accessory, an adapter, to put that on there so that you can then attach a light or a laser to it. So this here I picked up for just under $300 at Academy. It was on sale for $288. And I was like, hey, you know what, for Smith & Wesson 9mm, that's a really good deal. So I picked it up, and even though I've never really been a fan of polymer guns, I was like, you know what, for 288 bucks, where can you go wrong with that? It's a Smith & Wesson. So I picked it up, and I was like, you know, this is going to be a handgun for my family, for my girls, because I have a 45, a 1911, and I was like, you know what, that's probably too much gun for them, so I'm going to get them something that they can handle. Well, I took my oldest daughter to the range, and she absolutely hated this gun. I don't know if it's because she has a little bit of weak wrists or the way she was standing and holding the weapon, but every time she shot, the rounds came back and hit her in the head or hit her in the chest. And of course, that's enough for, you know, kind of a new shooter to shy away from a firearm. But whenever she shot my 45, the 1911, she was rocking and rolling with it. She had no issue. So if she told me if she had her druthers, she wanted me to leave out the 45 when she was home and put this away. When I shot this, I didn't have those issues. Rounds ejected out to the right. But unlike the 1911 that has kind of a flared ejection port to kind of kick that round out, this doesn't. This 9mm doesn't. So these will kick out all different directions if you don't watch it. Again, it's got basically the same frame. It's just a little more narrow in some spots than the Glock. Some of the grooves in the slide and everything, they're just a little fatter, a little thinner. You cannot put a Glock upper on a Smith & Wesson Sigma bottom, and vice versa. Even though they're so close, you'll never get them on all the way. You'll get them about halfway, and then they'll be stuck, and then you're hosed. Alright, so it's not interchangeable. So that's the one good thing about Glocks. There's so many Glocks out there that you can do that with. But again, when you're buying guns on a budget, 288 bucks at Academy, you can't beat it. It is a polymer gun. It's plastic bottom. It's got, you know, it's got the checkering here. There's nothing on the bottom of the trigger well. There is some grooves here so that you can get a good purchase of the firearm and keep control of it when you're aiming down range. It shoots well. I've only had a couple malfunctions, and those were due to ammunition. I got rid of that ammunition and put some different loads in there, and it fired just fine. So it was either just some bad ammunition, or maybe some ammunition that just did not agree with this weapon, which I hear can be an issue with any weapon. There is some ammunition, I guess, out there that does not agree with some firearms. But you know, guys, it's a good little weapon. I've got to like it. I've got to gotten the feel of it. The trigger pull is real heavy. When I say real heavy, the 1911 is very crisp. You know, probably 4 pounds, 5 pounds, if that. Here it's almost like a double action trigger. I mean, you pull and pull and pull and pull, and it's like 6 or 7 pounds, maybe 8 pounds, depending on you know, what videos you watch and who does it, and they've got their little meters and everything else out there to to test that. I don't know. But because this weapon only has 2 safeties, actually this weapon only has 1 safety in the actual weapon, and that is a drop safety, a Series 80 drop safety inside here. And then of course it's got really kind of like that double action, really long, kind of hard trigger pull. But it does have a solid reset. So you pull it. Alright, oh, I don't know if you can hear it. Let's do it again. Alright, so it's got a positive reset. So it was one of the other reasons why I didn't really like these polymer guns, is because they had no safeties. And you know, when these things were introduced, my kids were little, and so I was looking for guns that had safeties on them. That way, if for some unforeseen reason that something happened and my kids got a hold of my weapons, they weren't going to be able to get them and fire them. Even though I taught them gun safety, I taught them to respect the firearms. You know, I, as a parent, wanted something with a safety on it. Now that the girls are grown, they're gone, they're married off, safeties aren't that much of a concern. And even with my 45, I train to, as I'm unholstering and pulling it out to present it, to hit that safety and present my weapon. So that's not a big deal anymore. But again, guys, for the money, it's not a bad little gun. For the poor man's Glock, I would say that it gets at least 1 thumb up. It'd get 2 thumbs, or I'd drop the pistol. So that's my review of the Smith Wesson SW9VE Sigma 9mm. Okay, guys, so that was my review of the Smith Wesson SW9VE Sigma 9mm. If there's anything else you'd like for me to touch on in any of my videos, any topics that you have that you'd like for me to touch on, any questions that you may have about any of the videos or any things that I may have said in any of my videos, please feel free to leave a comment. Just be respectful in those comments. Shoot me a message if you got my phone number. Shoot me a text. Shoot me an email if you've got that. Until next time, guys, remember, God is awesome. He is amazing. Put everything in His hands. Stay safe. God bless.
Instead of 911, they're built to improvise, adapt, and overcome. When you're in knee deep and you're
Okay, guys, so that was horrible.